So let's get started. Right, so we're just going to sit quietly for a moment while we wait for the others to join us. And take a few moments just to still ourselves in preparation for this evening's meeting. So allow the breath to flow freely. Allow the jaw and the face to relax. Feel into the body, touching the ground. Feet, hands, legs. Just noticing the body in space, noticing the breath coming and going. And just with everybody on mute, we're going to go through some OMs together and an opening prayer. So inhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome everybody. What a wonderful moment this is. I know a lot of people will be watching it on record as well. I feel incredibly grateful for particularly the teachers who have managed to find these young people to come and talk to us this evening. And those teachers, is too many to mention, but they've managed to bring together young people from Spain, New Zealand, Australia, US, the UK, and a few other countries as well. So it's a really special moment. Actually a moment I've been waiting for an awfully long time, for us to really investigate like how yoga is impacting people across the globe. And these young people have only met for the first time on Wednesday, and they've had a little chat and that's it. And we're going to give them the floor for the first half of this meeting this evening. And then the last half of the meeting is going to be question and answers, where we can have conversations together with the young people. And so without further ado, I'd like to start this meeting with a video of people who couldn't be here today, but who have recorded a little piece for us on what yoga means for them. So I've already watched this video and I found it absolutely enchanting and really moving. So I hope you do as well. So we're going to start with that. And then we're going to move on to talking to the young people who are with us today. So enjoy this video. Let me see.
Me llamo Lucía, tengo 17 años y soy de Zaragoza, en España.
Hi, I'm Rosie from London.
Hi, my name is Emmy Wilson. I'm 14 years old and come from Wollongong, New South Wales.
Hi, I'm Annabelle from London.
My name is Juliana and I live in Wollongong, Australia.
Hi, I'm Amy from London.
Hola, me llamo Isabel Gascón y vivo en Zaragoza, en España.
Hi! My name's Em. And I am Mon. And we're both 16 years old and yoga teachers in Wollongong, New South Wales, Australia.
I started about a year and a half ago because I needed a physical activity for my DV. And I've been doing it ever since. I love it.
Hago yoga desde hace unos cuantos años y empecé porque mi madre me lo propuso y además muchos profesores me lo habían recomendado, porque soy una persona muy histérica y muy movida.
I went to yoga by having to choose a physical exercise for my DV, and then after doing it for a while, I realised that I really enjoyed doing it and it was really calming, so I decided to do it.
I got into yoga by one day watching a YouTube video by Boho Beautiful, a girl on YouTube who does like Pilates and workouts and yoga and meditation and all that. And I was so inspired after that to really incorporate yoga and Pilates and all that into my life. And now it's just stuck with me?
I started about a year and a half ago, and I decided to do it because I needed a physical for my DV, and I'd been meaning to do it anyway. And once I'd done it for the set amount of time, I realised I really enjoyed it and I wanted to keep doing it.
I was introduced to teen yoga through high school sport and I became very interested in it, then started looking for classes outside of school. I began attending my teacher Kathy's yoga classes in 2016 in Wollongong.
So I needed to do a physical section for my bronze Duke of Edinburgh. I'm not a particularly sporty person, so my friend suggested yoga and I decided to give it a go and I'm really glad that I did. Empecé yoga hace 3 años y la verdad es que me ayuda mucho porque toco el violonchelo, entonces a veces suelo recargar mucho mi cuerpo con tensiones añadidas de también de estudiar para el instituto.
I initially got into yoga when I was about 12 or 13 years old. I was suffering from an eating disorder. I also had and that sort of led me into yoga. Initially, I was drawn to the more physical side of it, the asana, the physical practice. I saw a lot of videos of beautiful women doing flows and sequences, and I was initially drawn to that. So I started to practice pretty religiously, and then over time I delved into more of the spiritual and philosophical side of yoga, which is what I'm really passionate about now.
I found yoga when I was suffering from an eating disorder at 13 years old, so about 3 years ago now. And I was told that I needed to self-recover or get hospitalized. So I decided to self-recover, and through that I found yoga, and it's just all been uphill from there.
It really helps me calm down when I'm stressed, and whatever mood I go into a yoga lesson, I always come out feeling really relaxed and calm.
El yoga me viene muy bien para relajarme y para ser más consciente de lo que hago y tomármelo todo con mucha más calma.
Well, every week I go to yoga and I feel like it's kind of a nice space to just focus on something else other than like all my schoolwork and all of the stresses from my life outside.
Yoga has made really a big difference in my life because it's allowing me to connect with who I am inside and out, and it really just, I can focus on me and nothing else that's around me, so all my stress and energy just put to one side and just focus on myself.
I really like just having an hour of my week dedicated to yoga and being able to move and just kind of clear my mind and think really about spirituality and just kind of calm it all down a bit.
Yoga makes me feel at peace and has taught me the importance of gratitude and living in the present. It has definitely had a huge impact on my life in terms of helping me deal with school stresses and other teenage pressures. It has not only improved my mental health, but has also been very beneficial, especially when learning poses and increasing flexibility.
Yoga has really helped me deal with stress levels during my GCSE year. It's helped me to breathe in my busy day-to-day life. Yoga me aporta seguridad en mí misma, relajación y comodidad con mi cuerpo.
Impact on me and in my life because it has helped me in the world. It's helped me figure out my sense of self, my purpose, and all of that really good stuff, and just helps me gain a lot more clarity into my life, more into where I am at, who I am, and know that everything is exactly as it should be.
Yoga has to step back from the society and what it feeds us in general and to come back to my roots and really find out who I am as a person. And I want to share these universal teachings with the whole wide world because I feel like there is so much more to yoga than getting on a mat and bending yourself into a pretzel. That is just such a small part of it. So much fun, but there is so much more to yoga than bending yourself into different poses. And these universal teachings, I'm just so excited to be a part of that and share that with the world as well.
My favourite yoga pose is dancer's pose because it always helps me focus and reset myself.
Mi postura favorita es el árbol porque me cuesta mucho mantener el equilibrio, pero cuando lo logro pues me siento muy bien y me parece muy divertido de hacer, ya que es un reto para mí. Y eso, el yoga pues me ha supuesto pues más tranquilidad, tomármelo todo con calma y con otra perspectiva y pues ser más feliz.
My favourite poses are probably the warrior poses because I feel like it's a good pose to focus your mind on something else.
My favorite pose in yoga would definitely have to be the tree pose, as it really allows me to like center myself and just feel so calm and just relaxed and just really being centered. Yeah.
My favourite pose is probably sun salutation, just because I think it's a really nice way to start the morning. It's quite a nice flow to just get the energy moving, and I just think it's really nice.
My favourite pose is downward dog because I really feel like it's good. It like stretches out and gets me ready for yoga. I feel like it helps me be in the moment.
My favourite pose is the tree pose. Balance is my favourite area to work on in yoga, and the tree pose especially helps my mind focus solely on my breath and my balance. When I practice this pose, all outside worries tend to vanish from my mind.
Mi postura favorita es Balasana porque es con la que consigo relajar mi cuerpo al 100% tras hacer trabajos de más movilidad, y además me he dado cuenta que es una postura que yo hacía antes de hacer yoga porque es una postura con la que me encuentro muy cómoda.
My favorite yoga pose is child's pose because your hands, your legs, your heart, your forehead's all on the mat, all connected to the land, all connected to the beautiful earth that we live on. And that is really special to me because it allows me to surrender. It allows me to feel like everything is happening for a reason. The only place that I can be right now is in the present moment.
My favorite pose, very similar as well, is also child's pose. I love child's pose because it means that my heart is above my head, and so therefore I feel like I am not only coming back to myself and to my roots, but my heart is allowing itself to be free and open. It makes me feel really grounded and connected. We're so grateful that you let us be part of this really amazing project.
I don't know about you, but every time I watch that, it gives me chills. It makes my eyes just fill with tears because of joy, not of sadness. And we're going to just carry on with that conversation. Would love it if someone could translate the non-English words spoken. Kathy, they were written. Did you not see there was a subtitle? You can watch them again in the when you watch them. Kathy, they were saying, "Oh, you're on your phone."
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I couldn't see. Yeah.
Well, when you watch next time, you can see that there's subtitles. Yeah,
wonderful. Thank you.
Really moving. That the girls from Spain. Yeah. So we are going to carry on now with the girls who are with us, and of course with Max as well, who's with us. And we have several girls from South Africa. We're really excited about that. Hey. And we have 2 girls from Australia, Emmy, who was in the film, and Em, her sister, her friend, who's also a teacher. And then we have Jenna, who is also a teacher from the States. And then we have Olivia and Max from the UK. I don't think I've forgotten anybody now. So we're going to start off with Jenna. Em and Olivia are all teachers, actually, despite their young ages. And we're going to get Jenna to start us off with teaching us a little practice. And then Em is going to teach us a practice, and then Olivia is going to teach us a practice. So take it away, Jenna. I'm going to switch off my mic now. Make sure everybody's on mute, right, when she does that. Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. One of the things I'm going to demonstrate is something that I find so important whenever you want to take anybody in particular, especially the young crowd, since whenever I first started yoga and we'd get into final rest or shavasana, I'd just be instructed to lay there. And I just got lost in my thoughts, and especially since what drew me to yoga was people telling me that it'll help me with my anxiety and depression. But because I was given no guidance, I just was going nowhere, and it was leading me deeper into those thoughts. So I feel like I would love to kind of direct it in a way that I personally love to teach it, and also have seen many teachers teach it. So you should start getting your mat, telling your students to go down, and this is very important because I have a certain injury / deep, my tailbone is like a bit weird, so whenever I go back like this, it hurts me. So another modification is to go to your side and then lie on your back. Whereas once you can tell your students to start getting to Shavasana, you try to scan through the body, starting at the feet, maybe tell them to flex and relax on an exhale. Inhale to the calves, flex them, exhale, release all that tension. And then we can get them up to the front of the thighs and the knees and just squeeze on inhale and let go, telling them to almost feel it melting away. And then we can start getting to the glutes and to the upper thighs and near the hips, squeezing, and once again exhaling and letting it flow out. Then we go up to the abdomen. So we flex, we can even tell them to bring their hand there so that they can feel that kind of sensory, as I know in the beginning of any sort of activity of where I would have certain muscle placements, it's very helpful to teach them to kind of feel it there, to try and get that proprioception started. And working up to the chest and the neck and the collarbone area and just squeezing on the inhale and almost telling them to just let go of all the bad energy that is stored every time you exhale and release that tension. As we can start, once you're done in the torso and upper body, we can start with the hands and start putting them to fists and then relaxing them back on the floor in their natural position. To the forearms, exhaling and letting it lie down. And then to the biceps and shoulders and letting that tension out. And one of the most important places which I feel like a lot of trauma and stress is built is of course in our face. So I like to teach them to try and like stiffen up your face the most that you can and then relax your face. One of the best things I thought of is your face melting or almost smoothing out all the wrinkles on your face. And then just another cue that I would give for just the studio or just setting is try to get rid of any kind of clocks that use gears or have any sort of noise, because I know even after you do a body scan, it is very difficult for even just normal students to keep focus while they are in Shavasana. So my favorite thing that I've seen teachers do, and I feel like I've seen the best results from, is playing some light meditation music in the background to kind of help and guide your students to stay on the path, as well as giving them cues of, oh, if certain thoughts come up, it's okay, just don't let them overtake you, kind of sort of let them go in a way. And I feel like that is very important, and especially how people's views of yoga in the beginning is often very physical, and getting these ideas out of these young teens' minds and actually giving them room to actually learn the actual spiritual and mental part of yoga is really helpful, and it's really going to help them with any kind of issue that they have. So yeah, that was my little demonstration. And I guess, Em, you can start going for yours.
Thanks, Jenna. Over to you, Em.
Oops, I didn't realize that I was muted, but that's solved now. Cool. So I thought that for Emmy and Kathy and I, it's like really early in the morning. And to most of you, I'm guessing it's the afternoon and you've been sort of sitting all day doing Zoom things. So I thought we could maybe do a little bit of a breathing practice. I know that when I first started yoga, getting into the breath was something that was so beneficial for me, just because it allowed me to learn the skills I needed to sort of regulate my emotions, my mental health throughout the rest of the day. Awesome. So for people that want to do it, you can. So we just sit up, making sure that our spine is nice and straight so that we can breathe nice and easily. Noticing the parts of our body that make contact with the chair, the ground, wherever you're sitting. Noticing the base of our spine and our hips as they sit on the ground or on a chair or any other prop. And starting to scan up through the body from the base of the spine all the way up through the lower back to the middle back, up to the upper part of the spine, then into the shoulders, the neck, the back of the head, and traveling up through the top of the head, down into the forehead. You can gently close your eyes if you haven't already. And then starting to notice the little tiny muscles at the back of the eyes, letting them gently relax, soften, become heavy, letting the eyes sink a little bit deeper into their socket. And then scanning down through the cheekbones, into the jaw. See if you can soften your jaw just a little bit more. Beautiful. And then we'll return back to our nose, starting to notice your natural breath flowing in and out of the entrance of your nose, not changing the breath in any way, just noticing as the breath travels in through the nose, down through the throat, filling up the belly and the chest. And as you breathe out, the belly and the chest soften and the breath travels back out again. Just continue to notice your natural breath. And we'll be doing 4-part breathing or square breathing. So to do this practice, we'll be breathing in for 4, holding our breath in for 4, breathing out for 4, and then holding our breath out for 4. We'll take a preparation breath in, so breathing into the belly and breathing out naturally, letting the body relax and soften. And then we'll start to breathe in for 3, 2, 1, holding our breath, 3, 2, 1, breathing out, 3, 2, 1, and holding our breath, 3, 2, 1, breathing in, 3, 2, 1, holding, 3, 2, 1, breathing out, 3, 2, 1, and holding, 3, 2, 1, breathing in, 3, 2, 1, holding, 3, 2, 1, breathing out, 3, 2, 1, and holding, 3, 2, 1, breathing in, 3, 2, 1, holding, 3, 2, 1, breathing out, 3, 2, 1, and holding, 3, 2, 1. And last round, so breathing in, we'll hold our breath, and breathing out. And then you can take a natural breath in, filling up the body, and a natural breath out. And then gently opening the eyes. Awesome. Correct. So, am I handing over to Olivia now?
Yeah, thank you so much, Em. That was
You're
beautiful.
welcome.
Well done. Olivia, over to you.
Hello. Okay. So probably won't be as good as Jenna or Em, but Okay, so first, I would like to teach Mushti Mudra because it's what I do whenever I'm stressed, and it's really helpful basically all the time. So you just take your hand, you put your thumb across the middle, and you put your fingers over it like this, so it's like a fist with your thumb on the inside. And then you can squeeze your thumb as tightly as you want, or like just hold your fingers there. And it's what I do whenever I'm stressed. I did it even before I knew I was doing it. My mum was the one who pointed out that it was a mudra. It's really useful for stress. And then I think Charlotte, I was going to do my candle visualization, the short one, yeah. So this is something I do whenever I can't concentrate in school or in tests. So whenever you are stressed, close your eyes and imagine that you are in a dark, quiet room looking at a candle. The flame burns at a comfortable brightness, flickering every now and then. The candle is scented. What does it smell like? Lime for concentration, lavender for sleep. Perhaps it has a special scent unique to that candle to help you calm down. Continue breathing in the scent of your candle and watch it flicker. When you are de-stressed enough, you can open your eyes and go back to whatever you were doing. Try to keep the scent of the candle lingering in your nose. Thank you.
That's so simple and so effective, Olivia. Thank you so much. Olivia is probably the youngest person who ever took the teen yoga course a couple of summers ago when she was, what, 14? Were you 14?
I had turned 13 recently last year when I did the course.
13.
I'm 14 now.
Yeah. And Olivia, partly why Olivia likes to use, we'll be talking a little bit about this later, use the yoga is because she's on the autistic spectrum, so she loves to use it. She'll be talking to us about that later. Thank you so much, Olivia. Okay, well, I'll hand over to you. I know you had a plan, Jenna. Who's next?
Let me actually check that. I think Max is actually next.
Hi guys, I'm not a teacher in yoga and I unfortunately cannot give you a lesson, but I am going to talk about one of the points that is more, it's not brought up much in yoga, but I still think it's a very, very important point, which is the number of boys and men that actually take part in yoga. As I can clearly see by the array of people with us today, there is a lot of women and girls, and that's fine. I know that yoga is more popular with girls, and that's how it is, and probably is how it always will be. Yet I do think there are several pluses to men doing yoga and why there should be more men doing yoga. So I started it when I was transitioning between two schools, and it was quite hard for me because I'd been at one of the schools for a while and I had all my friends there and it's quite far away and I was leaving, and my little sister had done yoga at school with one of the teachers here, Jess, and my mum heard about the teen yoga course she was doing, and she said to my dad, you should get Max to do this, and he said, all right, I will. And I was trying at the time to be a little more open-minded when it came to opportunities, and my first thought was immediately yoga, not that flexible, probably won't be that good at it. But I decided to bite the bullet and go to the first session. And as I expected, I think there was about 3 or 4 other girls and just me, which immediately made things a little bit awkward on my front. But over the weeks, more people started to join. A couple more boys joined. I think one of them left pretty quickly, actually, which is a little bit annoying. But over time, I became more comfortable in the environment. I got much more stuck into the exercises, and I continued doing it course after course. Every time we redid the 6 weeks, I came again and again and again. And I found it's really, really helped me, both mentally, because I have had some troubling times at school, both academically and mentally. And I feel like that every Saturday night, I really look forward to going there, because I knew that from the entire week, I could take all of the problems I've had and just dump it into the yoga session, and they would all dissipate. And by the time I'd gone home, I was relaxed. I felt completely free of all my worries, like a big weight had just been taken off my shoulder. And I tried to tell some of the guys at school, hey, you know, you should really get into this. And they looked at me and said, yeah, sure, mate, we'll think about it. They never thought about it. So I was kept on my own as the only boy who I knew that actually did yoga, but it built along a lot of skill sets that I already have. I play hockey a few times a week. I'm a keeper. Learning to be able to increase the flexibility in my legs has been absolutely amazing to improve my game. And doing the balancing poses like the tree and with warrior poses has really improved my core strength, being able to get up and down off the ground a lot as well. Again, kept trying to tell the guys in my hockey club, no, you should do yoga, you should improve some of your strength and fitness. They're like, nah, we're good, mate. So it's tough, it's challenging, but people don't like to see yoga as what it can be. They see it for the stereotype that it's something that girls do because they want to be more flexible. They think, I'm a guy, I'm never going to be flexible. That's not how it works. But it's much, much more than that. As I said, it helped me mentally, got a lot of stress from my shoulders, especially now coming into GCSE year. It has been really, really, really good. I've got parents on one side, I've got teachers on the other, trying to balance social relationships, help me with all of that. It's helped me physically. It's something that I think that more boys should do, because there's really no reason why you shouldn't. And it's good for all parts of life. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Max. I think you're a very brave and insightful man and ahead of the game. Fantastic. Good job. I think it's Seho next, isn't it? Off you go, Seho.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tsahofatso Khoza from South Africa. I was asked to just talk a little bit about South Africa. So there's a lot of things that has been going on in South Africa that hasn't been really nice. So one of them for me is depression of teenagers. A lot of teenagers these days have been suffering from depression, and I'm one of them. And I've realized that yoga has taught me, I don't know about other people, but me, that it's very important to just sometimes just sit down with yourself and just breathe and know that whatever that's happening around you, it's okay, you know. And yoga has taught me that no matter where you're going, what's happening, especially now that we've been going through this whole kidnapping of kids, it's just important to just sit down and just breathe and acknowledge that there are people around you. And yeah, another thing is also in South Africa, people don't really know more about yoga. Some people think yoga is for specific people, like rich people or people that live in a certain area, but it's for everyone, you know. And the one thing that I told my friends is that yoga has changed my life in so many ways, because it has helped me realize that you can go into any position as long as you believe in yourself. And I was told that by my yoga instructor that's teaching me now, that no matter how you're feeling or what people has said to you or anything, you are able to do anything that comes to you. And he's made me believe in myself more and to just realize that breathing is something that people have to do before you do anything, and it will help you in whatever you do. So I really hope that I can spread the word in South Africa that it's okay that at times you are going through something. It's just, you just need to breathe. And yeah, there are people around you. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful, beautiful sharing. And I'm looking forward to hearing from Nomusa and the others about South Africa. So Nomusa, do you want to carry on a little bit? Yeah, tell me a little bit what it's like to be in South Africa. Anything else you wanted to say about this topic?
Okay. Being a girl in South Africa is actually very hard, because there's this thing with gender-based violence going on. Children are getting killed, women are getting killed, and Corona doesn't make it any easier for us. So being a girl in South Africa is very hard. And yeah, and when the yoga people came to my school, I was like, okay, what's going on? Because they came right before we started writing exams. I was like, okay, I am so not interested in this. I am not gonna do yoga. But then obviously the principal was like, everyone is gonna do yoga. Okay. Firstly, of my first class was I was like so not into it. But then when I went on and on, I think I just realized how it helped me in many ways, because it made me get interested in doing I can like do flips and all those things, because it makes me very, very flexible, very flexible right now. And I think every time I get home, I'm calm, I'm happy. My mom even noticed a difference in me ever since I started doing yoga, because I am more reliable. I talk more with her, and I'm very open. And even after the yoga class, even in class, I am so calm. There's no fights going on. It's just a very peaceful environment. So yoga really changed my life. And just like I'm going to high school next year, I just hope they also come to the high school, because I think we really need it there. As Tiko said, there's many teenagers have depression, and I really think yoga helps a lot, because it keeps you calm and relaxed, and you just, all your worries just float away. So I think yoga is the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nomusa. Refilwe, did you want to say something while we're in South Africa?
Yeah, so I don't have much to say about, but I would just like to say, breathing is a big part of yoga. Like, people view yoga as such a physical thing and such a, I don't know. But yeah, so yoga is very big on breathing. And I've said that I play trumpet and I play the saxophone too. So when I started yoga and I started all this breathing and, relaxation and everything, I find that it's helped me a lot, in my playing, and how I've improved a lot in playing those instruments, because they are wind instruments and I need a lot of breathing and like support and everything. So I feel like yoga has definitely improved how I breathe and how I play. So I sound way better now. It's just great. It's just great. And I feel like it's helped me a lot. So yeah.
Thank you, Refilwe. That's a very specific area which we probably wouldn't have thought of unless you told us about that. Thank you. And Busisiwe, did I say that correctly? Would you like to say anything? Yeah. Oh, great. Busisiwe, I can't see you. Are you there? Could anyone see Busisiwe? There are so many people here. I can't see. No, she's not here. Maybe she went. Okay. Well, if you're there, Busisiwe, let me know and we can come back to you in a minute. Before we move on, I don't know about you guys, but I would really like to hear, was it you, Nomusa, who was saying about how you teach your family sometimes the yoga? Open your mic and tell us a little bit about that.
So about that, actually, so since I come home more happy and more open, so I would just go to my grandma and be like, let's do yoga. And she'd be like, I'm very old for that. So I'll be like, we can just do like simple exercises, not tough ones like the downward dog. And so we started with this breathing exercise, breathing in and out so she can calm her nerves and all those things. Then we started doing the tree. Oh my God. So she wasn't very good. She didn't even try. But then she really thought that I'm really into yoga right now. Like I even tried it on my mom because my mom is more slim and more younger. Because my mom is more slim and younger. We did my favorite position, which is the downward dog and the butterfly. Yes, and the butterfly. And we started trying to do splits because it makes us more interested in doing splits. So we tried on doing splits and we're getting better and better.
I'm sure that's going to help your granny, it's fantastic. Namusa. Keep us posted how granny's getting on. I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. I think Jenna, what was going to happen next? I think we were going to do some introductions because actually
we've forgotten Emmy.
Sorry, Emmy. Yeah, that's right. Emmy, go for you. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Emmy. I'm from Australia. So I got into yoga at the start of this year because I just really needed a change from like a lot of the intense like workouts, and I've always been like a really active person. So I've done like horse shows with miniature horses, and that includes like a lot of like trail and hunter where you have to like run like really far distances, and it puts so much strain on your body running. So I was like, I need something to like relax me because I'm always like so on the go all the time, and I just need something to calm. So I got into yoga, and like I never would have thought that I would get into this. So I was like, I may as well just give it a try. So I went to my first lesson at BU Yoga in Fig Tree, and ever since that, it's now just really like changed my life because I'm so much more calmer now, and I'm not as like hyperactive or anything. And I've really just learned to like take it easy on my body and not like overexert it and stuff. So that's how yoga's really just changed my life in like at the start of this year. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmy. Thank you, Emmy. I think we didn't really hear much about your story, Jenna, like how you became a teacher. And maybe you'd like to tell us a little bit about that. And I know that you and Olivia wanted to talk about neurodiversity in yoga as well. So over to you, Jenna.
I'll start off with explaining.
And your age. I don't think we know how old you are. That might be.
Oh, no. I am 15, and I started my training whenever I was around 14, and I've been doing yoga for like quite a long time. I remember I was like 7, and my grandmother would actually like kind of invite me to do stuff like downward dog, just small little things like that. So it wasn't really serious until this past kind of year and a half, whenever I first started actually practicing and going to the studio and having a true practice and encouraging it to be in my lifestyle until this past year. And I originally wasn't planning to be a teacher. I just thought it was just another way for me to stay active. And because of my issues that I was facing at the time with certain eating disorders, depression, coming in and out of different abusive relationships, I just really needed some time to really learn who I was as a person. So it was kind of just my way of really transforming as a person. And it was soon after that I, instead of just going to my regular classes, which were just what my grandmother would call gymnastics, is usually because it was inversions and twists, because I am very hyperflexible, which I have learned throughout my training that I shouldn't be bending myself that much, especially with how young I am, that I can go a bit too far and injure myself. So I've really adapted my practice has changed a lot, but I never really thought about being a teacher until at my home studio, where I'd go so many times before the coronavirus happened. My teachers basically begged me to be a teacher because they just saw how welcoming I was to all the other students and how everybody just wanted to like say hi to me, and they were just like amazed by me sometimes. And throughout my training, my teachers and my peers, and I know I was the youngest one there, and the other youngest girl was like in her 30s. So everybody in my class was just very shocked in a way of being like, "You're 14?" And it's like they constantly had to like remind themselves of how young I actually was, and I have so much passion in this kind of space and community, and how it has completely changed me in this past year throughout my training, and how this simple practice has even just turned into my lifestyle now, whereas some people call me crazy for it, but every time that I feel stressed, I have a completely different viewpoint about everything, and just kind of remembering deep down everybody's a human. And rather than if somebody hurts me, I'm not like they're evil or they're a psychopath. I have to understand everybody's a person with feelings. Something must have happened that day. Something must have gone through their head. And just some instances whenever people are just mean because they either don't know enough or they just have pain in them. So really, yoga has really been such a huge thing for me, mainly because it has transformed my mind and personality so much. So yeah, that's basically my entire story right now. And I'm just so shocked because in this past year, I went from such a low place, mentally, physically, everything, in and out of like getting in trouble with law enforcement, just going down a really bad path, to where now I can finally recognize myself as a good person that people enjoy being around. And I'm just so shocked whenever I look and see how many accomplishments I have made in the past year. And I just know that every one of us, we need to give each other so much more credit for how hard we work every day, especially through this pandemic. And everybody has been working hard, and everybody's going through stuff, and everybody needs some time or someone to just tell them, I'm proud of you. Because even just those 3 words can just trigger such an emotional response where you can finally realize, I'm not overreacting. This is actually how it's been. I have every right to feel the way I feel. So I feel like my entire practice and my entire journey so far, and it's only been so short, so I'm just super excited to see where it brings me next. So yeah, I've been talking for a while. So would you like to speak?
Jenna, that's really moving and really important. Every word you said feels incredibly important, and I'm glad you spoke that much, and I would like to hear more if you have more to say. But maybe we should just let Olivia speak a little, because I know, Olivia, you wanted to speak about neurodiversity and yoga.
Yes, I would love to give her the floor, since I know that she has a lot more experience with that. And
thank you, Jen. Yeah, well, we'll come back to you. Yeah, I mean, we've got another 45
yeah,
minutes.
if I have stuff to add, yeah, I'll definitely add more.
Over to you, Liv.
Okay, so I feel that For a lot of the yoga classes I personally have been going to, people have been quite understanding of like my autism and other neurodivergencies, but that's mostly because the classes that I've gone to have been taught by my mum or her friends. So that's a big factor. The first teen yoga class I joined, taught by Laura, but it's not the Laura that was on our training course, basically turned into me bringing other autistic teenage girls onto the class, because I feel that it's really important to have inclusivity in yoga classes for teenagers, and also special classes for neurodiverse teenagers, like the ones my mum is doing right now, which with her teen yoga thing, which and the same Laura, which she calls Senzen, although that makes me think of Tenzin from Legend of Korra. So I feel that sometimes in yoga, the teachers don't, okay, I'm not entirely sure how to word this. Sometimes teachers and other students don't notice that someone is having a struggle with something, or that someone is finding it too hard, because personally, as me and as an autistic person, when I'm having trouble with doing something or understanding something in normal classes, as well as in yoga classes, I sometimes find it hard to speak about what I'm finding difficult, partially because I'm nervous about it, but also because I can't really articulate what I'm finding difficult a lot of the time. And I think Jenna agreed with me with this. In the relaxation part of yoga, it's important to have some, for me at least, and to have some kind of background music or talk or speaking, like meditations or something, because if it's just background noise, then I will try and pick up on one single thing to listen to, and that can be distracting from the actual purposes of the relaxation. For example, a lot of the time I just listen for my cats when I'm doing classes at home, because I love my cats. And I went to one class, it was a cover teacher, where the teacher had to leave the room for a second, like a minute or two. And in that short amount of time, my friend, it was a relaxation part of class. My friend had a panic attack and I had to try and calm her down. So it's also, if you know that you have neurodiverse, especially autistic, I can't really speak for other neurodiverse people. People in your class, it's quite important to tell them what's going to happen during the class and if you're going to have to leave, but it's really best not to leave at all, because it will stress us out. Okay, I don't really have anything else to say unless I'm prompted, so I'm just going to stop talking now. Thank you.
Liv, you did a really, really great job. You really did. You gave us all a real clarity about what we need to think about. And I think for many of us, that's something quite new, what you've just told us there. So thank you so, so much for being so brave and being so open and honest. Really appreciate that. Well done, sweetheart. Well done. So the other thing I'm aware of is that how did you come to become a teacher so young, and how old are you? Maybe that's another question. Are you there? Yeah, there
Yeah.
you are.
Hi, can you
Hi.
hear me okay? Is that all good?
Fine. Yeah, tell
Cool.
us about your journey. Jenna just shared hers. What was your journey to becoming a teacher, and how old are you?
So I'm 16. You might have seen me on the little video before. Yeah, so I'm 16 years old, and I started my teacher training when I was 14, so at like the start of last year. And so it was like a 500-hour course. I did it for the whole year. And the reason why I was really prompted to become a yoga teacher was like yoga was a huge passion of mine.
Is she frozen for everybody? Yeah, what a shame.
She's
frozen for me.
She said that her Airbnb connection is pretty bad. So
Airbnb.
A very perfectionistic person.
Can you hear me okay? I'm going to suggest that you switch your video off because you're breaking up a lot. Oh, maybe she's disappeared. Emmy, could you get in touch with her, sweetie, on WhatsApp and just tell her that her internet's a bit unstable? Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Switch your picture off, because then your internet will be more stable. Okay.
Okay.
And
cool.
then come back later. So carry on.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I'm not sure when I cut out, but so yeah, the reason why I was really drawn to yoga initially was just because I thought it was something cool to do. I compared myself a lot to the people I saw on social media, all of the sort of yoga teachers and yogis, and I was sort of idolizing them in a sense. And so I was like, okay, like I got to try this out and do it, not for any reason other than like I just wanted to be similar to them in some sense. Yeah, so then I started to practice yoga simply just because I was like, okay, this is something that I need to do. And then over time, I was actually like, okay, this makes me feel really amazing. And this helps me in so many other aspects of my general life. And when I first started practicing, I was just doing like YouTube classes because I was too, I guess, anxious to go to a proper class because I didn't think that I knew what I was doing enough to go to a studio and then practice there. Yeah, and then eventually I started to really get into the more spiritual, philosophical side of yoga. And that really hit home for me. That was something where I was just like, wow, this makes so much sense in my life and all of the other things that I know to be true. So I started to really delve into that realm of yoga, that whole philosophical side of things. And that really was something that just changed my life. From there, I started to go to a studio. I started to practice with other people. I started to connect with other people who were like-minded. And yeah, from that, the whole culmination of all of those different things just helped me recover. It helped me to gain a greater sense of who I was and my place in the world. And especially as a young person, because I would have been like 12, 13 at the time that I was doing that. And I didn't know anyone else my age who was doing yoga, but I was friends with a lot of older people. Most of my friends were in their 20s. So I was able to connect with them and relate to them. But then still being at school, I was also able to see the other aspects where I was looking at my peers in school and I was like, wow, yoga would really be beneficial for them. But there isn't really anyone here that is helping them and able to connect with them in a real sense where they're a similar age range. They're not, they've had similar life experiences. So I was like, wow, like I'm really passionate about yoga. It's helped me so much. I want to learn more for myself, but I also know that I want to be able to share this gift with other people. I want to be able to express to other people how it has had such an impact on my life, and then maybe just share a couple of things that might help them. So I decided in 2000, I decided when I was 14, when I was 14, I was like, okay, I want to become a yoga teacher. And so I did. I spent the whole year studying at a place in Sydney in Australia. And throughout that whole course, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about the world. I learned so much about other people. And then that was when it really was sort of cemented to me, like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So from then I've been teaching yoga for the past year, working with Kathy. I think she's still here. One of my teachers that taught me teen yoga for a little bit. We've been working together doing some teen retreats for body image and that sort of thing. And yeah, so it's been a really, really beautiful experience. And I'm very grateful that I found yoga when I did, because not only did it save me, but I've been able to share the gift from my personal point of view as well with other people, and being able to see the impact that it's had on their life as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. And when you say it saved you, what do you mean, Em?
Just really, because I was going through a lot of mental health issues at the time that I found yoga, it just changed my life in the sense that I was able to notice that I wasn't my thoughts. My thoughts were just there. They were coming and they were going, and they were always going to come and go. But I was able to learn the skills that I needed to identify that and be like, okay, this is a thought. This is just how the mind works. The mind works by having thoughts running through your head, but you don't actually have to always listen to every single thought you have and identify with them. You can just look at them and be like, okay, this is a thought. It's in my head. And the same way that it came into my head, it's going to flow out again. I don't need to become attached to that. So that was a really, really valuable skill that I learned, just to be able to be like, okay, I'm here and these thoughts are just going to come and go. And yeah.
Very cool. Very eloquent. I want to see your face again. I miss your face. Okay. I'm gonna, unless any of the young people have anything more to say, Nomusa, Sejo, do you want to say something, Nomusa?
Yep. So I never thought being on this Zoom call with everyone would be so inspiring. Because at first I thought, I'm not gonna do this, but then right now I'm so inspired, I'm so into this, and I would never take anything back, honestly, because this is like a great thing in my life that's happening, and I'm really grateful that I was invited to join this. And unfortunately, my friend Busisia got cut off and I can't get in contact with her. So thank you very much, guys.
Oh my goodness, it's totally our pleasure, Nomusa, for us to get an insight into what's happening in South Africa and Soweto. It's like a different world, and we need to know. We need to know what's happening, how you're feeling, and how things are changing, how we can change things, because we're in one planet, we're one human race, and we need to care for each other. How far away we are, it doesn't matter. So we need to know what's going on for you, Nomusa, and you've given us really great insight. You and Sejo and Refilwe, I feel very happy that you spoke. I'd like to give everybody else an option, because I've been doing all the talking, and so have the teenagers, but I'm sure that there is 30 of us here. Maybe there's somebody else who has a question. It's such a moving hour we've spent together already, but I'm sure some of the adults maybe would like to ask some questions to the young people. Has anybody got anything to say? Yeah, Jess, why don't you open up your mic?
Hi there. It wasn't actually my question. There was a question above after when Max was speaking. And I think it was a question to Max to see what we can do to get more boys into yoga. So I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses here, so I can't see who actually posted the question.
Max, would you like to talk about that? I know you've done your best. You've spoken to your hockey team, you've spoken to your mates. They're not coming. What needs to happen, do you think?
Well, as a teenage boy myself, I know for a fact that we are not exactly the most, we're not exactly compelled to do something if it is forced upon us. It's probably, we will rebel and end up just stopping it altogether. So I think it just that there needs to be some sort of incentive, and something needs to kind of almost to adapt the yoga sessions in so that they would more be in line with something the boys were into. So taking parts of yoga that maybe they wouldn't be so interested in and removing it and replacing with something maybe a little bit more fitnessy, a little bit more strength building that they can actually relate to. And when they come into those yoga sessions and they start to get the hang of it, then you can introduce some of the mindfulness stuff. And hopefully by that time, they will be enveloped in the yoga scheme to be able to actually accept that and continue with it. Apart from that, I don't think there is much to do.
I think what I'm hearing, if I've understood you correctly, Max, is that it needs to be introduced in such a way that it's not yoga as most people think about it, but it's relevant to whatever they're doing, whether it's helping them with their football or helping with them with their hockey, that it's kind of segued into what they're already doing in a way that makes sense. And maybe it would also help if it was taught by guys in a more regular way, like maybe in PE or something.
I think that would help. I think doing it in PE would be a good way to kind of keep it a bit more synchronized, because when it comes down to it, if you're doing it on a weekend and it's a Saturday night and it's 6:30 in the evening and you're feeling really weary, you can be very tempted to just, oh, I'll pass it off, I'll do it next week. But if it's at school and you are in school, it's much more compulsory. It's there, you can't exactly fake away from it. And yes, I believe that focusing on the parts that would be more appealing to guys, especially sporty guys who would like to improve on their fitness, in a much more controlled and relaxed way than just going to the gym and doing lots of weights. Because I believe that, I mean, sure, going to the gym, it looks good and you're working very hard, but yoga is equally as intense in parts of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I do think that would help. Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki's making a good point in the chat there, saying that Sarah Ramsden, who's the yoga teacher to Man United and Man City football clubs, she calls it functional movement and anatomy. So it's about, optimizing your movement ability. And I think that's a really clever idea. Yes, Lucy, over to you.
Hello, thank you. I'm so inspired by you all. You've all spoken so well and been so just so confident in how you've all spoken. So I really, really appreciate it. Sorry, my dog is barking. Amelia, take the dog out quickly. Just a quick question. A few of you have mentioned about philosophy and yoga, and I just wondered what were the main. How have you become interested in that? What sort of inspired you? Has it been through the yamas and niyamas, if you understand that, or has it been about breath control? I'm just interested to hear a little bit more about that. I teach tweens at the moment, so I'm interested in how I can inspire them, as you've so beautifully talked about. I apologize for my dog again.
That's so good. I guess I could probably say a little bit. For me personally, the Yoga Sutras were definitely a huge thing for me, just because I was looking for a lot of answers in just very broad questions about life, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense for me. The yamas, niyamas were awesome, but then I guess just the general philosophy of yoga, the whole concept that we are one with everything, and that sort of very general philosophical, I guess, answers or questions. Yeah, for me personally, that was a huge thing. And yeah, does anyone else have anything to say? Maybe Emmy, do you have anything to say, Emmy?
Jenna's opened her mic. Let Jenna say something first. Go on, Jenna.
What I feel like is the best way that I really got into the philosophy part was remembering and being taught the 5 remembrances of Buddhism. The I will grow old, I will grow sick, I will die, I will lose those I love, and my actions are my only true belongings. And I feel like those, once you get into that mindset where you can actually understand that and really using those as a guide whenever I'd incorporate into my physical practice, is whenever you can finally start teaching people the actual philosophy part of it. Because if you just show them the yamas, niyamas, everything, and even just the chakras, they're not going to understand. They're not going to grasp on to that kind of philosophy. So I feel like just starting with anything basic like that. I love the Buddhist philosophy and what parts it takes into yoga and how it's into my practice. So those are my favorite.
That's fantastic. The questions are coming thick and fast now, so we're going to move on to the next question. Does that answer your question, Lucy? Does that help? Sort of? Yeah, great. Okay, Diane, over to you. Could the panel speak to what works for them in a yoga teacher, what doesn't work for them in a yoga teacher? Do you want to add to that, Diane, or is that it? So what do you like, what works in a yoga teacher? What does not work for you? And maybe that's individual, maybe there's some common. Emmy, why don't you answer that one? We haven't heard from you in a while.
So what was the question again, sorry?
Basically, what works for you in a yoga teacher? Like what kind of bits of yoga teachers do you really like and what don't you like that they do?
I definitely like it when the teacher really allows us to go off and just do our own kind of flows. So like if it's set and you don't really feel like doing it, like you want to do your own one. So I prefer to just do my own kind of flow, but then I like to have some of the teachers like incorporate their poses and stuff into it, which, yeah, I mean, they're the teachers, they're going to teach us, but like I like to go at my own pace and just do stuff. So yeah, I just like to do some of the stuff on my own, but I love the way teachers teach.
So what I'm hearing, if I'm right, Emmy, is what I'm hearing you saying is that you like to have some autonomy. So which means like you can make some decisions yourself about what's happening. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So when teachers are too strict, you feel like you don't like
yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
That figures. I've heard a lot of people say that. Namusa, have you got any ideas? What do you like about a teacher? Is Dale your teacher? You can tell us what you don't like about him.
Yes, actually, he's not my teacher, but he teaches the boys, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to say thank you very much to him because he brought like light into my life.
Oh, that's beautiful, Namusa.
I just forgot the lady's name.
Which lady? The lady who asked the question?
No, the who.
Oh, your teacher.
Teaches, And can I answer this? Do you prefer to have all? I think it's better to have like separate classes, like girls and boys, because some girls won't get comfortable in front of boys, you know. Yeah, so I think like separate is the best way.
Lovely, and thank you for answering that question, Namusa. Anessa had a question. What was your question, Anessa? Why don't you open up and speak, and then we'll come to Jenny.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm trying to put on my video. I should be. Hello. I just want to say thank you guys. You're really warming the cockles of my heart here. And my question to you is that I actually teach student nurses at the moment, and I do a weekly online class with them, but a lot of them are very underconfident and very, very shy, and don't feel able to come to the class, don't feel able to come online and share. For some reason, there's lots going on. I think it's COVID, it's pandemic, there's lots of stuff. How would you encourage the young people to come to a class, to come to an online class, and not be so shy or so self-conscious?
Who wants to answer that question?
I would love to answer that question.
Go for it, Jenna.
Okay, so I remember, this is a personal experience. I remember being in this one workshop where we worked, it was all age co-ed, but I feel like even me in the area that I was at the time being very insecure, we did a lot of heart openers, which is in itself very vulnerable to put yourself into. And then once we were all practiced out, stretched out, and it was coming to the end of the practice, we got into a nice little circle and we shared, well, we first started with the main teacher of the workshop coming and telling about his experience with attempted suicide. And we all just kind of shut our eyes, held each other's hands, of course, before COVID. And we all had our eyes closed, so we didn't know who really knew who said it. And I feel like after everybody had everything off their chest, if they wanted to, it was all optional. If you didn't want to say anything, then you were up to that. But I feel like that kind of practice where you can kind of almost have like a confession kind of thing of like kind of opening up. And I feel like if this is a class that you're going to have as a group going forward, I feel like you should start off with some like regular practices, but on like the second or third day, you should probably have one of those if you really want it to be very close woven to kind of make a community. I feel like that was really unifying, and just especially with teenagers, we don't really find ourselves to identify with anybody really with other people our age. So just kind of having that unification between one whole group is just fantastic. And I feel like that has even helped me out of the studio and out of my practice and just as a person. So I would highly recommend that.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
good
It's lovely.
advice,
Thank
Jenna.
you.
Is that helpful, Anessa?
It's beautiful. I can maybe start off bringing them, not call it a yoga class, but maybe start like that.
Yeah.
And then introduce the yoga later. But
Yeah.
maybe start differently before I get to the yoga with the class. There are some people who do come, but a lot of them don't. So I can perhaps start at a different place. So thank you so much. That was a beautiful answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Jenny, I think you had a question.
Hello, thank you so much. I love hearing from you and learning from you. I have a question. So tailoring a teen yoga class as an adult, trying to learn what it is in 2020 to be a teenager, I'm wondering, listening to all of you, you sound really advanced yogis, really mature yogis as well, but also the world is changing rapidly. So I'd love to know, do you still value the fun aspects, as you know, the yoga games? I know we can't touch, but partnerish games that we connect through touch, not touch, sharing heartfelt centerings, connections, the things that are very different to an adult yoga class where you don't have the fun element included. Is that not necessary anymore? Is it necessary? Is it missed if it's not included? Making it more fun? Do we need it, or can we get rid of it?
Can I answer this one?
Please do.
At least at first, like I would like other people's perspectives on this as well. But I personally really enjoy those aspects of a class, the fun, the stuff. Obviously, like everything in yoga is fun, but I do really like the games and things like that. And I think striking the right balance between playing games and making it fun and not seeming condescending or treating them like they're children or treating us like we're children, that's what you need to do. Because when I was still teaching before COVID, when I was teaching year 7s at my school, I would put a game in every week, but you have to like do it a bit like a cross between a child's and an adult's class, I think. But like, I would like to hear other people's perspectives on this too.
Seho, do your teachers play games with you guys?
Yes, they do.
Do you
But
like
I
it?
prefer doing it just by myself.
Ah, okay. So you prefer it when there's no games?
Yeah.
Okay. You prefer the kind of more serious, like straight yoga. Okay. That's good to know. Max, how about you? Do you like playing games, partner yoga?
That's it's quite funny. I do not actually remember, and no offense to my yoga teacher here. I don't actually remember ever playing any games, as you call them, in my lessons. We did do a few group exercises before COVID, obviously, and I do remember them being very a bit awkward at first, especially if you're partnered with someone from the opposite gender. It can get a little bit kind of, oh, what are we comfortable with? What are we not comfortable with? But I think when you settle into them, not only are they actually can be quite fun, but they also explore new parts of yoga that you can't actually achieve on your own. They also build up teamwork and linking your mind with someone and able to work together to overcome a challenge. I remember doing one of them where you sat back to back and you link your arms behind you and you try and stand up at the same time, and it had to be very coordinated and you had to be talking to your partner as to how to get up. And I do think that those activities can help a lot in a yoga class. You've just got to make sure that your kids know each other well enough so that they feel comfortable doing them, and although it's not very intergenderly friendly, I do think it would be a good idea if you did partner people with the same gender, just because they will feel more comfortable while doing it.
I think it's a really good point, Max. Thank you so much for that. Jenny, did you want any more, or does that give you a good?
I love it. No, it's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much. Really nice. And I think it's helping us to understand with all the changes that are taking place, obviously touch being one, and we're learning about sex and the changing perceptions and things. So yeah, it's great. Thank you. Thank
Cool,
you.
Jenny, good question. And Stephanie Cormier has asked a question. She's very concerned for her English, which is perfect. So don't worry about that, Stephanie. And she's asking, do you prefer intense yoga or relaxed classes? And how do you feel when a teacher teaches more about breathing and how to deal with emotions? I'm going to ask that one for Namosa. I wonder what you like, Namosa. Do you like really strong classes, or do you like relaxing classes, or a bit of both? Or
Okay, I really think the intense classes are more interesting because they get you to open up to new positions, and you unlock many parts of your body you didn't even you unlock new moves and stuff, and breathing exercises. Yeah, breathing exercises are really good. I very much enjoy them because it kind of teaches you to like breathe properly, if that's the word.
Good response. And how about like if a teacher like helps you deal with your emotions, like gives you ideas, okay, if you're angry you can do this, is that helpful?
Just like before we end our yoga class, there's this thing where we just lay on our mat, close our eyes, and just put our hands on our hearts and think about all our worries and pray and just wish for all the good in the world, and that's very helpful because some get very emotional, some sleep. Some get emotional, some sleep, some find comfort, I think, within their inner selves. So I think that's very helpful.
You guys are amazing. You're talking. You are amazing. You are truly amazing. I feel like I'm sitting here like with the greatest teachers ever. So Nikki has a question. What makes you feel connected this year while we can't have the physical touch, such as partner poses or holding hands and hugging? Well, I have an answer to that. This makes me feel connected, Nikki. This makes me feel connected. But let's ask the young people. Rafilwa, we haven't heard much from you. I know you play music. What this year, when maybe, I don't know what it's like in South Africa, but here in the UK, we're not really allowed to, well, we're not allowed to go into each other's houses or anything like that. Is it the same in South Africa?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Yes.
So what helped you feel connected to other people this year?
I feel like this, FaceTiming people, video calling, and all of those stuff. Also, like yoga. I feel like most of my peers, because we can't go to each other's houses or anything like that. So being able to come together and share this time while we're doing our yoga and being able to relate, somehow, I feel like that also helps. So being in the same space and being able to connect to each other somehow, or to be able to kind of relate to something, is kind of how I've felt connected to people this year.
Thank you, Rafila. That's really clear, really clear. We have to wrap up, unfortunately. I think most of us could probably sit here all evening. It's such a lovely feeling. My heart is literally brimming with love for you all. But is there anything that you'd like to add? I know, Max, sweet. Is there anything you'd like to say that you feel needs to be said, or you feel like it's come up? Oh, Jenny's got another question. Open up, Jenny. Let's hear.
I just thought even a one-word answer is fine. Like, if we're going to theme a class for kids today, for students today, humans today, of any age, what would be a theme? So, like, I heard a beautiful person say gratitude is part of their practice, but just a word. What are some themes to give me some, or give us all some ideas on how to theme some yoga classes for humans today? It would get teens into class. So, like, getting us inspired. Like, don't just say shoulders and hips. Are we talking about hearts? Are we talking about something else?
Jenna.
One area that I know attracts, because I whenever I started, my main studios that I used to go, because the main studios in my area attract more of like the older crowd. So whenever the only classes I'd see people my age were for those that focused on inversions, or it was vinyasa flow classes. Those are the ones where a lot of young people like to go to. And if you want to attract that crowd, that's a huge thing, because I know just in general, most of the time, what our young bodies really need and we crave because of how much energy we have is the advance. Well, I don't want to call it advanced, but just very different and a lot more active practice, as to, especially since now where, especially us young people, we have our internal clock very messed up. So exercise is just basically key for us to try and get a little bit of good sleep, because of, especially now that we're fully online for even schooling and how we can't see our friends most of the time. So we're always on our technology, of how studies have shown that has messed us up. So just even in general, young people are the people that are most inclined to have sleep issues and their inner clock to be messed up. So usually it's really the inversions, and I feel like we also just like a bit of a challenge and kind of have a little bit of bragging rights of being like, hey, I can do a headstand, I can do crow, those kinds of things. So, and it really depends, because I feel like the next step after, I feel like that's more for like beginners of how they view it. But I feel like the next step to teach your students is to just teach them to notice what their body needs, because you can't schedule what you need every day. You just need to understand that some days might be different. Some days you might need a restorative, some days you might need an active practice. It really depends, and you really need to teach, especially young teens, how to actually know when to trust their bodies. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Wow, Jenna, that's way more than 2 cents. That's like $2 million worth. And what I'm hearing about what you're saying, Jenna and Jenny, actually, is something around rhythm and cycles. We've spoken a bit about this on the course, like understanding our cycles and rhythms, like through the day, through the week, through the month, and getting back in tune with them. Like, okay, it's nighttime, it's dark, I need to be winding down. It's daytime, it's light, I need to be activating myself. It's a time of the month when I'm menstruating, so I need to be really quiet. It's a time of the month when I'm ovulating, so I want to be really active. And just getting those kind of, those rhythms right, I think is something which a lot of young people would really benefit from right now, because like Jenna said, I think we're a lot online, aren't we, all of us. I can't believe I have to stop it there, but we do. I feel like we could go on forever. Thank you so much. Nomusa, Besiswe, Tseko, Livia, Emmy, Jenna, Max, and Nikki, who I haven't spoken, and she said she was okay not to speak, and all the teachers who brought you guys in. Have I forgotten anyone to say thank you to? Probably. Nikki Dye for organizing the whole thing, and just for your wisdom and your generosity in sharing what you've learned and what you know with us today. Yeah, what can I say? I wish you were all in my living room so I could give you all a big hug, but maybe one day you will be. And yeah, stay in touch. And adults, remember, you can buy yourself a raffle ticket and win yoga mats, yoga clothes, books, a whole lot of stuff. We've got like 60 prizes, so get yourself a raffle ticket. This has been recorded. I forgot to say so in the beginning, but I think you all knew that anyway, which means it's going to be available for those people who couldn't make it this evening. And yeah, please do stay in touch. I mean it. I'd love to hear how you guys get on and what happens next in your lives. I can't wait, in fact, to see how you're going to bloom and blossom and thrive with this fantastic practice in your lives. So let's finish off with a relaxed state of being. Our shoulders nice and heavy, our jaw relaxed, our face relaxed, our breath relaxed. Drawing our awareness to the back of the body, drawing the chin in, relaxing the face. Take a deep breath in. Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May peace be in your hearts, in your family, and in your community, and in the world. And have a lovely Christmas, and see you all very soon, I hope.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for listening. It's been awesome. Yeah,
thanks for joining, Max. Really important that you were there.
I think this was the best 2 hours of my life.
Yeah, you said, Nomusa, that's so cool. I just loved hearing everything you had to say. And Seko too. Oh, I missed Besiswe. Tell her we missed her.
Yeah, she did send her apologies. Her Wi-Fi's got problems. So
oh yeah. And Nikki, I saw that she was there, but she didn't say anything. I don't know. And her mum just texted me, said she was fine. She didn't want to say anything. So.